Okay, so this video is going to be about Dirt, aka Earth Rite or Stack Rune. Earth Rite is actually one of the oldest mechanics for Runecraft in the game, and it's been recently revamped with the stack mechanic. So the best way to describe this deck is it's a somewhat aggressive burn-based deck. So it's not really a board-based aggressive deck like Sword, since it's actually slow to getting on board. But the main way this deck wins is by doing lots and lots of burn damage. Not OTK though. Usually the way you win is you set up a lot of damage over the course of 2 turns. So more like a 2-turn kill. You distribute damage over 2 turns to end your opponent, generally in the late game around like turn 7, turn 8. Okay? So, how does this deck play? Well, generally the early game is, you have followers that aren't really all that impressive. The main purpose of the early game is just deal the opponent's board, don't get run over, and build up your stacks. So, the Earth Rite mechanic has been revamped a bit. Before, the way the mechanic worked is you'd had cards that generated Earth Sigils, which were amulets that just stayed on your board. And then you had cards that had the Earth Rite text on them, which ate up the Earth Sigils and had effects. So, one of the issues with the mechanic before was that Earth Sigils took up space, so if you drew too many Earth Sigil generators, you would just flood out on board, and it would be really awkward, you wouldn't be able to do anything. So the way the mechanic got revamped is now, instead of generating Earth Sigils, cards generate stacks, so the Earth Sigils actually stack on top of each other, which is why it's called stack. So the board space issue that this deck used to have has now been alleviated greatly. So the early game of this deck is play a lot of cards that generate stacks, like these 2-drops, for example. They generate stacks on the board. You also have cards that generate many stacks at once, like Magical Reserves, and another card that's not in the core list. And then once you have your stacks built up, a lot of cards in this deck deal a lot of damage based on destroying stacks, such as Acid Golem, Arctic Chimera, Earthen Fist, and then one of our strongest cards, maybe it's straight the strongest card in the entire deck, is Superior Contractor. This card is just a quick blader by itself, but then once you have at least 7 stacks destroyed in the entire match, then this turns into a 1/1 and a 4/4 storm, for a grand total of 5 storm damage. Okay, so that's basically the game plan of this deck, is build up a lot of stacks, then break the stacks, and once you've broken enough stacks, then this deck is just capable of doing disgusting amounts of burn damage. Okay, so what I have here is the core cards for this deck. These are the cards that are going to be in every variant of Dirt. So you'll see this grand total of 35 cards. So we have our standard early game cards, you know, these 2-drops that generate stacks. We have some really efficient removal, Stone Bullet, 1 mana deal 2, get a stack, and then deal 5 if you have 3 stacks, which is super efficient, right? And then we have the cards that are payoffs for getting a lot of stacks, like Acid Golem, which we ideally want to play at 3 stacks because it's 3 mana deal 6. Earthen Fist, which is a 2 PP deal 3 damage to an enemy follower spell, which is actually not that great by today's standards, but if you have 2 stacks, then it deals 3 damage to the opponent's face also, and it recycles into your hand. Very similar to an old card called Chain Lightning. And then Arctic Chimera. This is a very flexible card, where you can play it as an Accelerate 1, it deals 3 random damage to something, and it also draws a card. And then if you play it for 6, it's actually not that impressive by itself, but if you have Earth Rite 3, it'll summon 2 copies, so you get 15/15 worth of stats, and then the original one gets Storm, which is a ton of stats, right? And on top of that, it even has an Evo effect of destroying an enemy follower. And then if you have a stack in play, it also adds 2 to it. So that interaction is pretty important for this deck. Before you play Arctic, you want to make sure you have 4 stacks or more. Even though this effect says Earth Rite 3, right? But in order to ensure that you get the +2 effect, you do need to have at least 1 stack left over. So ideally, you want to play this when you have at least 4 stacks on the board. Okay. So that's basically how this deck in a nutshell. It's actually pretty simple to play. So you can see here there's 35 core cards, which means there's 5 flex spots. So let's go ahead and take a look at this deck in detail. What cards can we add in? So you'll notice here that I have 2 Broom Witches. Broom Witch is a 2-drop, 2/2, it draws the cards. If we have stack 1, it draws 1. If it's stack 2, it draws 2. really, really good, right? A very, very efficient source of draw. However, one of the issues of this deck is that you really want to use your stacks on cards that deal damage, like Acid Golem. Running low on stacks is really bad. Your damage potential drops down dramatically if you run out of stacks. So some people say that, oh, well, you know, Broom Witch is a great card, but maybe we need to add sources of draw that don't use up stacks. And the most efficient source of draw that Rune has in rotation that doesn't use up stacks is a card called Story of a Lifetime. So this is a very, very common inclusion to this deck, usually at 1 or 2 copies for more draw that does not use up stacks. Another card you can consider adding is Jubilance Witch. This is a pretty standard 3-drop. It gives you stacks. If you Evo it, it gives you 2 stacks, which is really nice. And then it even has an AoE effect if you Evo it, where if you have at least 3 stacks, then it deals 2 to everything. Jubilance is just an okay card. It's very, very good against some matchups. For example, if you're seeing a lot of swords, Jubilance is great. But in other matchups, Jubilance is kind of whatever. A card that got introduced in this expansion was this card, Tempestuous Alchemist. This is actually an amazing card, very, very similar to that neutral card. What is that? That's the Fireworks guy? So, if you have a stack, first up, this card has many effects, but it's a 5-mana 4/4, it deals 4 damage to something, and also deals 2 damage to the opponent's face. And then if you evolve, it does the exact same effect again. And then it also has a passive effect where every time an enemy follower dies, you get an extra stack. So this card is absolutely insane against board-based decks, like so good. Could potentially give you 3 stacks in 1 turn. And also, while killing 3 followers and dealing 4 damage to the opponent's face. The problem with this card is that it's really, really bad outside the Evo turns, specifically outside turn 5 and turn 6. And if you're up against a non-board-based deck, this card's kind of bad. So, if you do add Tempestuous, it's typically only at 2 copies. And then another card that used to get run in this old version of this deck is a card called Pursuer Golem. This card is a cost reduction card, and if you draw early and you have 3 stacks on the board, then it gets, at the end of every single one of your turns, it gets a -3 cost reduction. But only if you have at least 3 stacks. And then it has a whole bunch of effects I don't really feel like going over here, but the idea is this card has Earth Rite effects, and these effects trigger every time an opponent's follower dies. So this card has some high roll potential. It's a lot of stats, but if you're playing against a deck that doesn't put a lot of stuff on board, or that only puts like 1 follower on board at a time, this card's kind of garbage. So I personally don't like Pursuer Golem, but I know that some people swear by it. If you do run Pursuer, I would not recommend running more than 2. And in terms of new cards this deck got, Dirt has existed in this expansion since the very beginning, but it had some really serious consistency issues. The mini expansion helped a lot because it printed this card, Riley. So Riley is really, really good. And the reason why is because she basically replaces Pursuer Golem. The older version of this deck ran Pursuer Golem, and Pursuer Golem is a very, very high variance card, since you generally need to draw early, and you need followers to actually interact with to get full value out of it. Meanwhile, Riley does a very, very similar thing, but is much less conditional. So basically, as long as you have 1 stack, she always draws you a card and restores 3. And then if you destroyed 7 stacks, then she does the same effect, but at the same time she also gets buffed to a 5/5, gets a ward, and she also destroys an enemy follower. So Riley is really, really serious. She gives this deck much needed longevity, because this deck is really, really lacking healing. So you can play the long game now. So yeah. In terms of this deck, I think the difficulty is fairly easy. It's one of the easier decks to play in the meta right now. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's tier 1, it's probably like tier 2. Most of the cards are from recent sets, so it will be in the game for a while. It should last for a while. It is worth mentioning, though, that Earth Rite tends to be a very cursed archetype in Shadowverse, as in, it's an archetype that very, very rarely is good, and even when it is good, it tends to be only good for 1 meta before falling off completely next meta. Okay? I do have higher hopes for this variant of the deck, because the Earth Rite mechanic did get revamped recently, right, with the stack mechanic. So maybe that's a sign they're going to take it a little more seriously and not let it fall off so much. By the way, for a new player, I do recommend it because it's a pretty easy deck to play, and most of these cards are going to stay in the rotation for a while. And yeah, it's pretty fun to play. I enjoy it. Also, I forgot to mention, this is the deck that I use. So I do use Alchemist, but if your local meta, if you're not seeing a lot of sword in your meta, then you can eliminate Alchemist. I also do not run Pursuer because I don't like that card. But other than that, my list is pretty standard. But after HS, I played this game. I also played a bit of Magic, and then I played Runeterra, and I also played Eternal. And after playing all those different card games, you know, I used to have a pretty high opinion of control decks, and they're pretty fun. And then once I played all those other card games, especially Magic, I was like, I learned the truth, which is control decks are the actual villain. Like people use sometimes, you know, people say that combo decks ruin games, or aggro decks ruin games. No, it's control. Control decks are the actual anti-fun.
I guess you're looking for a fight. Chill you to the bone.
Oh yeah. Control decks in general fine, but like the thing about control is that it's okay if control is like anti-meta. Like if they're like tier 2 or they happen to be the counter to whatever's tier 1, that's fine. But when control is like actually tier 1, it's like no one gets to have fun. Yeah. If it's all control versus control, that's like the worst kind of meta. That's the kind of meta that makes people quit the game. Alright, so we draw 1 here. Draw 2 technically. Like, you know, when it's an aggro meta, some people say that, you know, only aggro players get to have fun, or if it's a mid-range meta, then the mid-range players get to have fun, and when it's a combo meta, the combo players get to have fun. But when it's control meta, no one gets to have fun. No one. Not even the control players. So yeah. Why are we talking about control when the topic is Shadowverse? So like the thing is about SV, the control decks are usually not great in SV, right? Like they're very rarely top tier, but when they are top tier, it's terrible. It's just like miserable meta. And then right now, you know, control decks have been on like pretty good track record recently. Like there's always been usually at least one tier 1 control deck, right? Like Griefer Haven has been good for a long time. What is that? Sanctuary had a pretty long period of dominance. Yeah, it's more heavily mid-range, but still, like, the control decks don't actually make the game more fun. They make the game more boring, if anything. Oh god, this hand. At least we could draw 2, but still. We could draw 2. I need something to do here. Fine.
Let's try this new spell.
But yeah, Charmer. Most Runecraft leaders are flat, so you gotta pick the Booba. That's the... what is that? The roots of the class. Is it really just an Evo face? Oh, that's already buff. Wow, that's stupid. He's pretty lucky. I mean, I can kill that, but still, it's really dumb. Like, why is that a Stormer that deals with something on board? It's so dumb. I'm like never gonna beat Dragon, huh? I always take Hyrule by this stupid class. Alright, let me see something here. We do have an answer to this. Alright, so I'm probably gonna do Arctic next turn, I think. Am I just gonna waste all my stones here? What I could do here is... Broom. Broom Bullet. Okay, Broom Bullet, let's go. Okay. Alright. See you later, Taconia. How you doing? See you later, have fun. Let's just hope this dragon player doesn't have another source of face damage. I do have Riley. I guess if I can have one turn where he's not hitting me in the face, I can charge up Riley enough. Okay, Okay, that's good, that's good. Alright. Arctic Chimera next turn. Let's just smack him in the face. Just wreck this guy. Unfortunately, the problem here is that the sigils are going to reset. So, what I'm going to do, even though this is normally very, very bad, I'm going to do this. Because if I don't do this, I'm going to lose, I'm going to miss out on the +2 sigils. So I'm actually going to suicide this. Normally this is really stupid. Actually, maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm thinking right now. Is this really worth it? I really value sigils, because especially since we have Acid Golem, I really do value sigils quite a bit, yeah. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I really want to make sure I get the +2 to stack from the Evo effect of this thing. Alright, don't kill me! Yeah, our opponent's playing super aggressive. Now it's our turn to be aggressive. We have a lot of damage next turn. Next turn I have Acid... No! God, I hate this card. Acid into Contractor into Earthen Fist. That's a full clear, because Dragon's fair and balanced. We can't kill him, unfortunately. I can do this, though. Yeah, 15 damage. We can't do 15. I don't think so, at least. 6 plus 3 is 9. Four, 6. Wait, no, this is lethal, isn't it? Am I crazy? He's dead, right? He's actually dead, I think. He's dead. Oh yeah, we got him. We got him. Alright, we got him. Woo.
I've prevailed again.
Shadow.
I guess you're looking for a fight.
Going first, that's good.
Mother, father, come on!
Okay, so we have Archives Warden on 1, and then Covetous on 2 to draw.
Let's try this new spell. I'm not lonely. Not with
Luna.
everyone around me. The scarlet crystal tells me all. I'm gonna whisker you away.
Wow, really? Lucky. Okay.
Crystal's not working.
Now the question is... Another person playing Evo LW Shadow. This deck is really popular for some reason. Even though it runs literally no new cards, people just really like this deck.
I'm glad you're here.
Okay. Okay.
Strange. No.
Alright. Healing is wasted. I don't like this. This sucks. If only that was like a, I don't know, like a 2-drop that I don't mind playing. Like another Clay Sork or something. That really sucks. Passing turn 4 like that.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
All this incidental healing, man. It's so annoying.
Step back, new round incoming.
Right. This really sucks. Oh, this sucks. He's gonna heal for 2 off of these.
Everyone needs an afterlife plan.
Well, at least Riley will give me some healing. Oh my god, and he's playing Blessing? God damn it. That's so cheap. So much healing. What? Interesting. You're playing Reaper of Madness? Alright. Not the card I expected to see, but alright. Can I even kill this? I don't think I can, sadly. I cannot kill this. One X Reaper? I thought Reaper was meant to be a tech for Spellboost, but like, do people still play Spellboost? I feel like the deck has kind of fallen out of favor, right? I feel like people shouldn't be playing that anymore. Okay. Oh my god, stop healing, dude. Stop healing. Why is there so much healing in this format? 6. Okay. 6 necro. That's really good. We are not going to hit him in the face though because of that ding dong. So what can we do? Since we can't hit him in the face anymore, I guess Jubilant Evo isn't that bad. I guess.
Consultations available for just a single coin. The scarlet crystal tells me all. It won't be long now.
So we can't kill the Susie, but that's fine.
You made me. Live or die, the hunt is nothing I can't handle. Do it well. Now die. Nothing I can't handle.
Stop healing, please. That's all I asked. Stop healing. He might have. That's the card I was worried about. He does have it. That sucks. That's really bad. It's a lot of damage. Okay. Ow. God, that hurts. We just took like what, 13 damage in one turn? It's ridiculous. Is it possible to win here? No, right? I suppose we always do Riley first. Always Riley first.
I have no regrets.
Let's do this. I don't want to play Contractor here because that'll just give more bodies on the board, which will die to the Raider if he has it. So what we're actually going to do is we're just going to focus on drawing. Okay, that's good. Don't kill me, please. Knowing my luck, I'm probably still dead though. We've been losing to literally every single shadow today. They always draw everything. He's drawn a lot too. He's down to 15 cards. But if by some miracle we're not dead, we do have lethal with Acid, Fist, Contractor.
Welcome back.
Uh-oh.
Land of the mid.
Heal for 2.
Unbelievable.
Wow, dude.
Unbelievable.
Oh my god, stop! He's like maximizing the healing here. Dude, look at so much healing. Look at this. Dude, I think we actually had lethal. Like, this guy healed for like 1 billion one turn. We're actually dead. This sucks. I think it's lethal, right? 6. It should be in. Or I think this guy just denied my lethal because he healed for 1 billion in one turn. It's so stupid. What can we do here? 6, 3, 5. 6, 3, 5. It's 14. Yeah. We're 3 off. We had lethal before, but this guy just managed to heal for 1 billion one turn, so we lose now. There's no way I'm winning against this. God damn it, dude. This is such bullshit. This guy drew all of his healing cards. This is actually bullshit. Yeah, we can't win anymore. It's over. Oh my god. How come when I play Shadow I never get this kind of draws? And then whenever we play against Shadow, like, we always get like insanely unlucky. And we also had Shion at the exact right timing, but we're still able to push through. Oh boy, it's Forest. And this guy's almost
I guess you're
GM1.
looking for a fight.
Nature, grant me your strength.
What's up, Duelist? Climb to 8K? You mean the downward climb to 8K?
For my people.
Yesterday, honestly, it felt like I was doing really bad. Because we did go on this big, like, 5-game losing streak yesterday, but, you know, I looked over the records. I looked over, all the games at the end, and actually, even though it felt like we were losing, my record was actually 8-8, so we were perfectly even yesterday. Perfectly even. So I went 8-8, 8 wins, 8 losses. We ended up gaining 200 points net. So yeah, pretty interesting.
Hey, let's play.
Alright, we're just gonna draw here.
Today's the day I become my boyfriend.
Oh, why is my computer lagging?
For my people.
Yeah, the slow climb, the slow climb. Well, this guy's Forest. I'm really bad against Forest. I've been getting bullied non-stop by this deck, pretty much for the past year. Like, ever since Velsar, when Arya and Sekka got printed, I've just been getting bullied non-stop by the deck, ever since its release. I imagine this is not going to change. Faster than you, really?
Wiggle your head, loser. The crystal's not working. Let's play.
Really?
I underestimated you.
I mean, it makes sense if you haven't been playing, right? That happens. Well, let's see. Let's assume that next turn he plays Arya, Brokeback Arya, because they always have it. They always have Arya, right? They always have Brokeback Arya on first Evo turn. So if we're gonna try to punish that as hard as possible, we're gonna set up a Jubilance turn. So what we're gonna do next turn we're gonna do Jubilance, Evo, Earthen Fist probably. That's a full clear. Maybe we even use Stone Bullet here. I feel like it's a waste though, but I don't know. Got back into League, wow. Why? Of course, see, I knew it. They always have Brokeback Arya. Well, the fact that he has Arya on first Evo turn means we most likely lose. But you know, maybe. If he doesn't draw any healing, we might be able to win this. So if he doesn't find any of his sluggers, we could win this. Slugger is like one of the most annoying things about this matchup. Oh, let's see, do I do Golem? Thinking about whether I should do Golem or Alchemist. Both of them are pretty good, actually. Or I can even just do Jubilance. I'm probably not gonna have a chance to play this ever, right? So I'll do this then. Yeah, let's go. A bunch of friends play, I see. I could never get into those kind of games. I'm really bad at MOBAs. And not just MOBAs, but I'm also just really... Of course he has it. Why am I not surprised they have the best card in this matchup? Yeah. I'm really bad at any game that requires you to play as a team. I can only play 1v1 games. Like 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, any team-based game I'm super bad at. Time for this guy to kill the full while clearing my board and dealing face damage. Just a peak SV card design right here. More healing. No surprise there. He's back to full health, look at that. So ridiculous. I think we still do it, right? It's a lot of stats. I think we still do it. I don't like this play, but we have to. This matchup seems pretty impossible against Forest. Like, if they have basically the perfect sequence of cards, like if they have Arya first Evo turn followed by at least one Slugger, you just can't win. Because they're able to clear your board while healing every turn, and then meanwhile Dirt can't really heal, right? Outside of a select few cards. So yeah, we're gonna lose this for sure. I don't know, maybe he bricks the rest of his draws. I'm like really coping though. I'm super coping right now. I don't think I can win this. I'll try, but I'm not expecting anything. At this point, like, what am I even hoping for? I guess I'm just hoping he never finds Sekka, but that's not gonna happen, right? That's never gonna happen. How did CB go? Oh, clan battle was pretty good. I think my clan was top 250, perhaps? Around top 250. Wait, is this lethal? Oh my god, this might be lethal. Hold on. This is lethal, isn't it? Hold on, let me think. There's a way I can do everything. 3 plus... Huh, hold on a second. Yeah, it's lethal. Got him. We got him, baby. Yeah, we did it.
Luminous gates. Eat it away. I'll do better next time.
Got him. Whew, man. We beat Forest, holy crap. We finally beat this class. After getting bullied constantly by this class, we finally win.
Failed again.
Hey, we made trials, sick. Yeah. Alright, so the hard part's done now. Now we can just like do whatever we want.